Hello.
Hi.
So this is Bex and Benito from 1 month in the future. Angola was quite busy and we spent a lot of time on the road, so we didn't have a huge amount of time to kind of like edit videos and follow the usual schedule that we try to. Basically, we've just broken it down into 3 chapters. So chapter 1 is Iona National Park and the Colinas. Then chapter 2 is going up the coast, and chapter 3 is heading south through the interior. So that's Calendula Falls, Pedras Negras, and then a couple of cities on the way down. Enjoy.
We just crossed the border maybe 20 minutes ago and we're driving on the road to Xangongo, which is a fairly big town. It was a very small border post, so we went to the Angolan side, went inside, it was very quiet, and at first I was a little bit nervous because the man, or the official, the border official, seemed a little bit gruff, but he was really lovely. He just said he doesn't speak much English.
Well, he said I only speak small English.
Yeah, he asked for our passports and took a photo of them on his phone, and then also asked us to, gestured that we should go outside with him. Then he took a picture of the car, then he took a picture of Benito with the car, the driver with the car, and then he took a picture of us standing next to each other. And Shane was actually really sweet. As he was taking the picture, he smiled. You know, like when you take a picture of someone, you smile as well. So I assume it was for official purposes, but he was very sweet about it. And then we did face a little bit of trouble with our road permit, or the vehicle permit, just because the system was very slow. Anyway, so we went and sat outside, waited. So he came out and told us that he was going to write it out manually.
He apologized about the wait and everything in the system being down like 3 times, I think, and it seemed like he was almost embarrassed about the system being down, which I don't think we've ever had crossing a border before.
Just on the other side of the border, we exchanged just a little bit of money, 300 rand, and got 16,500 kwanza. Just on the road, we put our flags on, and we're super excited.
Yeah. And then we drove from there to Xangongo, and it was quite a nice road, slow going, but very beautiful. So many baobabs all along that road.
Every morning I go and see, and I just won't break that chain, 'cause I heard that you found a friend on a wild horse in the desert sand. There you go, like a roly-poly, and you rattle around my brain.
Once we got to Xangongo, we got our SIM card, tried to get cash.
It's been a bit chaotic. We immediately tried to look for a SIM card, which we did manage to find, thankfully, after a little bit of looking. Luckily, someone walked into a shop and they spoke a bit of English and they pointed us in the direction. It was easy to find places to recharge, but not so easy to find a SIM card. We found out eventually they call it a chip. So that helped us a lot, and we managed to get one. The guy helped us put it in everything. Then we went back to the original shop and the lady helped us load some data. Luckily, we're able to pay with rands, because that is when we found out that our cards don't work. Visa doesn't work in the smaller towns here. I went to go try find cash, and the 2 banks, the BFAs or whatever they're called, apparently don't have cash. Then we went to go get petrol. That was a bit of a fiasco because obviously they don't accept Visa, but then we found out that they would accept rands. So that was a relief. And now we're back at the bank and we're going to see if we can get cash. I don't know what. Yeah, we'll see.
Some random guy at the petrol station managed to exchange 90,000 kwanza for $100, and he gave me a slip with his name on it and his telephone number, and he said, no problem, call me, got a guy. Benito from the future again. Just while editing this, we just wanted to say that a lot of the issues we experienced in Angola in the first couple of days were just because we were unprepared, and we made a lot of assumptions, like that we'd be able to get cash and that our cards would work at petrol stations, both of which turned out to be not true and kind of remain an issue. Cash shortages, petrol shortages throughout Angola, which we probably could have assumed and would have known had we done any kind of research before going. And then from there we drove to Cahama, and that was a really nice tar road all the way to Cahama, where we just also lots of baobabs on that road to Cahama. And then once we got there, we topped up on fuel and just went about 15 k's outside of Cahama and just kind of camped next to the road. We found a little nook where we could hide nicely, and stayed there for the night. Chowing down, chowing down.
There were quite a few cars going by, but we put the tent up after dark and packed up this morning before sunrise. So Benita's going to tell you guys where we are going and what the plan is.
Cool. So today we're going to be essentially just heading straight west towards Iona National Park. I actually have no idea where the park starts. I know that once we get to Iona town, we can check with the authorities there and get some paperwork or something. But for now, I'm hoping we'll kind of make it to the Moimba clearing, which is just this area that was marked on Tracks for Africa. It looks like a really cool valley between two big mountains. So it's just further west of Oncocua.
So yeah, Angola's going well so far, day 2. Benita's struggling to drive on the right side of the road. I have to keep reminding him, but otherwise it's going well.
We continued along that same road towards Otchinjau, and that was still a tar road all the way up to Otchinjau. And the tar road then continued, and we ended up branching off onto the EN295 towards Oncocua. And that was a really good gravel road, very pleasant to drive for quite a while actually, all the way up to Oncocua, and then even for a couple of 20, 30 Ks after Oncocua on the EN295 towards Etaamba campsite. And at some point, the road kind of just veered off the good road, went left, and we ended up going straight on quite a 4x4 Jeep track, just lots of loose rocks and slow going, about 15 kilometers an hour average, but also incredibly scenic. We got to the Moimba clearing, and we had our tire incident there. Okay, our solution is we're going to wash that out a bit, put a lot of contact adhesive into there, then cable tie it to that, hopefully just like kind of around there somehow, so that it holds there, because I mean it's not leaking now, and then hopefully that'll be enough to get us to Tambua, which is far away. And if it's not, we do still have our spare tire. It's been made. That thing is jam-packed full of contact adhesive. After that, it was another 19 Ks to a Etaamba campsite, so we just pushed through and got to the campsite. Yeah, probably around 5.
As we drove to get out of the riverbed, leading up to Etaamba campsite, we saw another car there, saw a person. I was like, I know that person. And anyway, it turns out it was Triton Trails, which is another couple, Rory and Georgia. They're also doing a 6-month trip. And actually we knew about them beforehand because cousin Terrence knows Rory and Georgia. So that was so cool. We were at the same campsite just completely randomly. We had chatted to them a little bit about the route, but they changed their route completely like last minute. So it was such a crazy coincidence that we happened to be at the same campsite. It's really lovely. I enjoyed it. And it was so nice to meet them. They gave us also some insight onto the road and said it's a lot of up and down kind of 4x4ing and loose rocks. So that road, it's still the EN295, kind of goes straight-ish west through the Iona National Park. Lots of up and down through little riverbeds. Every now and then you had to go into low range, but nothing too bad. Nothing like Overlanding, just slow going, but really, really scenic. And the scenery also changed a lot. It started to get more and more arid and was quite rocky until we got to the actual Iona village, I guess. From there onwards, it was basically like Marienfluss type, quite big mountains and valleys full of grass and hard sand. So the driving was a lot better there. So we drove along that road all the way until we got to Espinheira, which is near the Lion's Cave campsite, which is unfortunately under construction, so we're not staying there. But we met a lady there who we paid our park fee to, because there's no gate on the Etaamba side. So we haven't actually met any park officials until we got here. She was super nice. She told us we must take lots of photos. As we approached the Espinheira kind of area and the Lion's Cave, there's just this huge flat desert. I mean, it's covered with grass now, completely covered with grass, but it's just this vast expanse. It's really impressive. So we passed the Lion's Cave, actual cave where they're building the campsites, which looks super cool. And we kind of just went up this pretty steep dune following a jeep track, and it takes you around kind of the hill that Lion's Cave is on. And we are now on the south side of that hill, at a little spot that we found, which seems to be a pretty common wild camping spot. The sunset will be right over
the big plane, and I think it's going to be really, really beautiful, so I'm super keen.
Share the silence with the fire, roll the rest of my tobacco. Telling stories to myself, but I know them all too well.
Making soy mince, chili beef flavored soy mince, some onions, carrots, kidney beans, and rice.
Yum.
Even cowboys do get lonesome sometimes. Yes, but I know one thing, I've come much too far. Oh, to let you go now. Please don't let me go. Oh, don't let me go.
Hello. We drove through the Iona National Park, basically just straight north. I think it was about 180 kilometers that we had to drive that day, and it was about 80-ish or 80 to 100 in the park, and it was really, really beautiful. The road was very corrugated in some sections, quite rocky in others. Generally, it was all right, but definitely you could see that it had been used a lot and had not really been graded, and the corrugations in some sections were really bad, like really bad.
But it must be said, Cricket doesn't handle corrugations very well. It probably is fine for other cars, but it was pretty rough for us.
We did see a bit of game, some gemsbok and some springbok, which was really nice to see. But otherwise, really just the scenery that was beautiful. We ended up crossing a small river and then exiting the park. And we just basically continued straight northward and got into this really cool valley that had like this just really yellow grass, and it was really, really pretty. And we managed to get some drone footage because it was outside of the park.
Well, yet another day goes by and there's not a soul inside. So as I ride into the dark, as I ride into the sunset, I guess it's time to say goodbye to the rider of the night.
So on that other road, we ended up getting to this kind of like really big open nothing plain. It was really vast and quite stark. And that's where we realized that our left rear tire was losing pressure. So it got to just, I think, 1.1 bar before I noticed. And then we immediately stopped, got out, and looked, and it was the same issue with the valve. So luckily we knew exactly what to do, and we took the tire off, put the liquid steel on, and we waited for it to set, and probably waited for about an hour. And during that whole time, one car drove past, and they were Iona Park rangers, and they just asked if we were okay, and we said yeah, all good, and then they kept going. But yeah, was quite kind of crazy actually just stopping in that place and spending some time there, because there was just nothing, absolutely nothing and nobody. So since things have been deciding to break, like our tire valves, I decided to put a little bit more fuel in just while we're here, and our little funnel suction thingy decided to break. We now have a springbok themed siphon, and it's not pretty, but I think it'll work. But anyways, we continued northwards and went to the Colinas. So yeah, we got to the Colinas relatively early actually, and it looks like they're building some sort of entrance thing, which looks pretty. And we managed to have a little drive around, and the rocks are just really, really impressive. So we drove around, found a nice spot, and then in the evening we went out for another drive. Really, really cool to be here. Colors are beautiful, and it feels really cool just camping in this canyon. Bye.
I know one thing, I've come much too far. Oh, to let you go now, please don't let me go. Oh, don't let me go. Even cowboys do get lonely. just like me. Yes, even me. Just like me. Even me.